Unit 5, Lesson 9, Colons and Semicolons. English, Grade 7 and 8, April 2nd, 2020. Hello, 7th and 8th grade. Welcome to English class. In our last lesson, we focused on the use of quotation marks. We defined what was a direct quotation and an indirect quotation. And like I said, we talked about quotation marks and what to use. Today we're going to talk about colons and semicolons and how do we use them appropriately and where do we put them. So if you could, please get out your English book and open that up to page 263. If you'd like, I am going to go through with you numbers 1 through 5 in the try it out section. I know that your assignment is pages 264 to 265, numbers 1 through 10. So again, I'm going to be helping you with the first 5. So if I were you, I would take advantage of that and then make sure you type that into your Google Doc and submit that to me in the Google Classroom. All right, let's talk a little bit about the use for a colon. Like, what do we use them for? Obviously, what is a colon? A colon is what I'm pointing to right here, these 2 dots. Okay, one use for a colon is you use it after a greeting for a business letter. Normally, if I were to write something to like my mom, I would write Dear Mom and a comma. But for a greeting for a business letter, Dear Sir, you would put a colon. Obviously, you use it for time. You're going to separate the hour and the minute, 8:40. That is another use of a colon. You use it before a list of items. Bring the following. That's a keyword. You can see that you know if you have the word following or another word like bring these, and then you have a colon, and that tells you that a list is going to happen. When not to use it, do not use after a verb or a preposition. So here are some examples. Bring a music book, pencil, and a pen to class. Obviously, there's no reason to have a colon there, or the program consists of a solo, duet, and trio. So don't worry about that. If you see that, do not use a colon. Only use it if it looks like bring the following, and then you're going to have a list. Something to keep in mind. So hopefully we understand the uses of a colon, and now we're going to move on with a semicolon and why do we even use that. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about a compound sentence is made up of 2 related complete thoughts joined by a conjunction and, but, or, nor, for, or yet. So just basically a compound sentence has 2 complete thoughts in it. Like, I read all day yesterday, comma, and now I am so smart. Okay? So that would be an example of a compound sentence. 1, I read all day yesterday, and then the second part, now I am so smart. I jumped in place all day yesterday, comma, but I broke the ceiling. So hopefully these are examples of, I don't know if this is what you're doing right now with all of our time, but anyway, these are just examples of compound sentences. Like I jumped in place all day yesterday, I broke the ceiling, okay? So those are examples. So this is where semicolons come in. You can use a semicolon in place of a conjunction when the relation between the 2 clauses is very clear. In other words, if the 2 clauses, the 2 sentences are related, then obviously do that. You know, when we have sentences that talk about things, and if you're going to say and or but, obviously they have to be related. So I practiced for 3 hours, now I am ready. So rather than saying I practiced for 3 hours, comma, and now I am ready, this is an option. Don't have the conjunction in there. This takes the place of the conjunction. Conjunction meaning and, but, or. So then you would have that there. The music is very difficult. It was written for an advanced student. Another example. Use a semicolon to join 2 independent clauses when the second begins with an adverb such as however, consequently, besides, therefore, nevertheless, that type of thing. So I played my best. However, I still need more practice. Now, when I looked at this was interesting because I do this quite often. And I know they always say, oh, don't ever start a sentence with and, but, or, which I totally agree. We shouldn't do that. But normally I would put a period here and then start this as a brand new sentence. But I think following this is an option. You can use this as your break in the sentence and then just continue on. The piano needed tuning, therefore I couldn't play it today. And I guess you could say, because you do see the relationship between these two clauses, they're totally related, so that would definitely work as well. Use a semicolon to separate two independent clauses that have commas within one or both of them. So Tom played the clarinet, the saxophone, and the flute, semicolon, and his brother plays the saxophone and the guitar. So I like this a lot because if you do have a longer sentence, this is a great way to break up these two separate thoughts. Because if you had Tom play the clarinet, the saxophone, and the flute, comma, and his brother plays the saxophone and the guitar, that's just too long. But at the same time, they are related, so you don't necessarily want to break them up. So I think using a semicolon in this case is a really good idea. Now, you might think to yourself, well, do we really need to have this and there? Because, you know, that's a conjunction. And didn't we say this takes the place of the conjunction? Personally, if I was going to write this, Tom played the clarinet, the saxophone, and the flute, I would get rid of this and then just put the semicolon there and say his brother plays the saxophone and the guitar. That's what I would do. So now let's take a look at the try it out on page 264. Again, your assignment is to do 1 through 10, 264 to 265, but I'm going to help you with the first 5. So here we go. Number 1, where are colons and semicolons needed? Well, you know your two options are either colons or a semicolon. So we go back to the greeting, dear Ms. Delaney. Apparently this is a formal letter, so that's where you would have your colon. Number 2, the West Indian concert will be held at 7:30 p.m. on Friday. I see the time. I see that a colon needs to be there, and that's where it is. Number 3, we will hear the following school groups: the Glee Club, the Folk Singers, and the Still Band. All right, following, that is a key word, following school groups, getting ready for a list. After groups would be my colon. Number 4, you study both classical and popular music. Therefore, we recommend this concert. Well, obviously you even heard the break after music. So music would be the semicolon. And number 5, the guest honors are Jim Evans, Elena Cruz, and Carlos Flores. And additional groups are Star, Flash, and Fire. So again, try to isolate, figure out what are the different independent clauses and go from there. So your assignment for 6 through 10, very, very short. It says rewrite each sentence, adding colons and semicolons where needed. So you need to do that. Please type out the entire sentence, put in the colons and the semicolons, anything that you think needs to be put in there, and you would type that and add that in. Now for numbers 1 through 5, you can do it just like I did it, and then 6 through 10, please follow the directions on your own. And that is it for colons and semicolons. I hope that this helped you. Please let me know if you have any questions. And if not, I look forward to reading your document after you submit it into the Google Classroom. Thanks so much, and we will talk soon. Bye.